How long have you been skateboarding, Vince?
I started skateboarding when I was 10, and I will be 50 in June.
Incredible. What sparked that interest?
I was actually born and raised on Grandview Street in Alhambra, which is about a mile and a half from here. 2 miles.
Man.
I lived on the same street for 37 years, and we lived on a hill. I was 10, and I had a friend down the street that was 4 or 5 years older than me, and he kind of did whatever he did. And when the urethane wheel came out in '73, he got a new board and gave me his old board, clay wheels. He had urethane wheels, and we started going down the hill. Evel Knievel was very popular at this time, and we'd set up ramps and fly off. It was for me, it was something I could connect to, and something that I felt a part of more than a lot of people were BMXing and they're real good.
Right.
A lot of them were playing football and stuff, and they're real good. And most of those things, there was already a standard of what good was. And in skateboarding, there didn't seem like there was a standard of what good was. So it felt free.
In your journey in the rides as a youngster, what was the ride like? What was in your mind? You're not talking to nobody. There's no people around you. It's just you and the board, man.
Yeah.
What type of a rush was that? I mean, what was the?
Well, to me, it was. I've said it a bunch of times in interviews, but to me, it was like an adventure and escape. It's like.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, escape.
Escape.
Yeah, I had to be in the house, back in the house when the street lights went on.
Right.
I could go down to the end of the block, and to this end of the block, I could play with the kids there and do anything.
But when they're off, you got to be at home.
Yeah, but when I had my skateboard, I could go around the corner and skate this bank. There's a little driveway, and we pretend we're surfing going down the driveway, and I was 100 miles from home at that point. Because it was me and this, and I was only a block away, but I felt like I was free and on my own and checking things out and being adventurous.
Now, as a skateboarder, what type of advice can you give a parent or corporate, those that perhaps may not understand the dynamic and the wonderful gift of skateboarding brings to the table of sports? It's a gift.
Yeah. I believe God gives us talents and dreams and desires within us as humans, and it's our responsibility as parents to see that in our kids and raise them up in the way that the Lord had designed them. And we're so often want to protect them from the things in life that we know can hurt them or we don't understand. And I think with skateboarding in itself, that's one of those things as a whole. Well, skateboarding is something that can hurt them. Let's protect them from that. But it's not that. It's skateboarding is not the problem. It's the things in life that can whatever. And skateboarding actually can be that freedom and that release that your child is looking for to stay interested in and stay focused in. And when their other kids around them that lose interest in the things and they start going, hey, let's go try this over here. Let's try that over here. If the kids nurture that this isn't an unhealthy thing, fulfill the dream, try your best at it, he's going to reject when the kid's going like, hey, let's go do whatever. So all I can say is what you're scared of is in everything. It's in football. It's in everything. It's not in skateboarding. It's in your kid. It's what you instill in your kids. Spend time with your kids.
Now, I found very interesting you being a pioneer, literally assisting how to build skateboard parks and stuff that you've been involved in. Because my son was the golfing instructor for Donald Trump, and he would come back saying, Dad, we're building a new golf course, and I kind of see that in that same line that as you got involved in designing these new parks. Can you touch on that?
Well, it started when we were little. All we wanted to do was skate backyard pools, and backyard pools were not available when we were kids. You had to either ask or break in, and a lot of guys broke in. We asked, but asking, you don't have that many. So from a young age, we started going, hey, we got to build our own stuff because you get disinterested really quick. So we just started building stuff and making stuff. And so a lot of the skaters in the early days, if they wanted to try something new, they had to kind of design the stuff to build. And that slowly just turned into what it has been. So there was a lot of skate parks built in the 70s that were private, but didn't last. And then in the 90s, they started building public parks a lot. And I've always felt that because cities and governments, the way they work, they don't really understand why or why not to do it. They just understand, hey, we have a problem with these kids. They have nowhere to go. Let's build this, fence them in, and tell them they can't go anywhere else. That will solve the problem. And so you started getting these parks built that were fairly inadequate for how broad and skateboarding is. And so I started trying to make friends with the guys that were getting the jobs and say, hey, what about this, what about that, and always push it to be bigger and better and more room and more space. And it's I think people look at skateboarding and go like, oh, it's like basketball. Here's a basketball court. It's, you know, this long, the basketball hoops 8 feet, whatever, 9 feet, here it is. There it is. And if you think of skateboarding that way, you'll build that. And skateboarding's not that way. It's such an adventure. It's such a. They always got to change. They got to. There's not one way to play it. There's hundreds of ways to play it. And so the more you push and irritate people, say, hey, that's not good enough. You might be, oh, come on, quit complaining. Well, you're just pushing for more and better and more things over. I go to a skate park and see if it's empty. People will go, oh, skateboarding is not that popular. And I would go, that skate park's not that good.
I see.
It's like they're full if they're good.
If they're good, yeah.
And they got to keep changing because kids, if it is full for a while, they'll lose interest in that and look for something else.